I'll just give a short introduction of Tata Tele Business Services and what are we into. Uh, a very good afternoon to everybody. Tata Tele Business Services, also known as TTBS in short, belongs to the prestigious Tata Group of companies, which is the country's leading enabler of connectivity and communication solution for businesses, with services ranging from connectivity, collaboration, cloud, security, IoT, and marketing solutions. TTBS offers the largest portfolio of ICT services for businesses in India. We have all experienced by now that COVID-19 has acted as a tipping point for digital transformation of the workplace. And this will speed up further as technology is now a vital pivot on which enterprises are totally dependent for their business's continuity and growth. Therefore, digital agility is becoming a critical factor for the workplace to communicate and collaborate effectively both internally and with customers. As a country's leading technology enabler, TTBS has been empowering enterprises with voice, data, and managed services to develop deep digital capabilities, build resilience, and enhance operational efficiency. Enterprises are moving fast on their digital curve and are embracing hybrid work culture that allows them to service their customers from anywhere and anytime. To meet this growing demand, we have strengthened our portfolio of services such as cloud-based communication solutions, collaboration solutions, IoT, data management, and cybersecurity solutions. We have recently launched an advanced cloud communication suite, which we have termed as Smart Flow, which combines an uninterrupted flow of business communication with intelligent call routing and monitoring. Not only this, but it also offers on-demand scalability, which allows businesses to adopt quickly to changing business solutions. We also understand that security is a need of the hour today. Therefore, Smart Flow also comes with enterprise-grade security and liability. Cyber attacks like phishing, ransomware, etc., we have heard about it, and it has become far more pervasive and sophisticated, especially during the pandemic. To address this, TTBS has enhanced its cybersecurity portfolio to provide a world-class security platform to offer email security, web security, next-generation firewall, endpoint security, and multi-factor authentication security services. Therefore, enterprises now have access to a comprehensive smart perimeter security proposition that is robust, scalable, and can be rapidly deployed at an affordable cost. TTBS has further strengthened its suite of work from anywhere solutions to meet the demands of the hybrid workforce. Solutions like hosted IVR allow enterprises to quickly set up distributed call centers and enable agents to work from home. We also have hosted PBX, audio and web conferencing solutions, international and bridging services to ensure connectivity and collaboration amongst teams spread geographically across the globe. TTBS is also a trusted provider of IoT services that are designed to facilitate real-time tracking for informed decision-making. So our IoT portfolio comprises of asset management, fleet management tracking, school bus tracking, and workforce management. So for the last 2 decades, our deep customer engagements have helped us to develop solutions that would enable enterprises to compete and win in their respective business segments. We will continue to play the role of technology enabler by strengthening our portfolio of services, especially in the areas of connectivity, collaboration, SaaS, IaaS, IoT, and cloud, while simultaneously enhancing our network and sales reach capability to cover as much of the enterprise footprint as possible and enable them to do big. Thank you.
Thank you, Janice, for setting the precedent to this discussion. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give her a round of applause. I know this is a virtual event, but clapping still helps. I think I missed those sounds of
Thank you.
laughter and claps. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, I welcome each one of you to the CEO Talk. This is an initiative by the Talk. My name is Anmol Garg. I'm the founder of a sales training company called Sales 5X, and I'm going to be the moderator for today's session. CEO Talk is a platform that helps sharing ideas and insights to transform organizations and to create a better and transparent forum for meaningful business relationships and partnerships. The theme of today's discussion is respond, reboot, and reinvent the new mindset for growth. And today I'm joined by a very able panel. I'm going to go through a quick round of introduction after I call out every name. Let's give a round of applause again. I have with me Mr. Samir Malhotra, CEO, Shriram Automall India Private Limited. Mr. Upkar Singh, Director, IT, Fidelity Information Services India Limited. Mr. Raj Neravathi, former CEO, Huck Innovations and Head of Technology for Titan Watches and Wearable Division. Mr. Yogesh Kothari, Senior Vice President, Finance, Quattro Business Support Solutions Private Limited. I now invite Mr. Shibhu Davies, Sales Head North and East, Tata Communications, to deliver the welcome address.
Thank you. So good afternoon, Janice, Anmol, and all our distinguished speakers for today. Very happy Wednesday to all of you, and hope you're all keeping safe and keeping your loved ones safe and secure. I hope that this year get us a step closer to the usual normal and will bring a smile on our face, knowing that last year has gone and we can march ahead with renewed energy, enthusiasm, and positivity into the new year. I work with Tata Communication, which drives the next level of intelligence powered by cloud, mobility, Internet of Things, collaboration, security, and network services. And Tata Communication also carries around 30% of world's internet routes and connects businesses to 60% of world's cloud giant and 4 out of 5 mobile subscribers. So in today's time, Tata Communication is focusing on being agile, being aware of the customer's thought process, how they are changing to and reacting to the changing times. Now, I would like to maybe talk about something which is coming to what the COVID pandemic has left us with some harsh times, and it takes and feels like we are taking a ride in the fast, moving train, which reminds us of speed. Slowing down might explode. So we have to reflect on our interest into the future of technology, because until we do that, and if we don't get our thoughts and technologies right, we don't have a future. That's how it is looking like. I'm here to listen to you and to support your endeavor as best as we can. We are in this together, and I reflect on how the COVID has left us. We are not in the same boat, but we are in the same ocean in many boats. So 2020 is a unique year. It has tested us all with personally and professionally. As professionals, we have faced so many challenges dealing with the outbreak of COVID and adjusting to the new normal of long-term remote work, all while delivering against our priorities and staying together as a team. So it was because of true dedication, resilience, and care for one another that we have emerged winners. I would also like to talk about the technology that has accelerated our knowledge, opened our eyes to newer possibilities, and transformed everything we do. But it's the collaboration of technology and people together that can change the world for good. So if you want to work with teams who can achieve together with technology, that is shaping our world. And we have seen that every cloud migration story is unique. This makes it difficult to gauge how much better or worse your teams, our teams, fared during our journey into the cloud in terms of cost, time, and effort. So would it be interesting to know if your team migrated faster and smarter and most cost effectively than average enterprise? So with this underlining question, I would open the floor and would request Anmol to steer the conversation forward. Over to Anmol.
Thank you, Shibhu. Thank you for that. Yep, let's keep the applause going, guys. Great. I love the use of the phrase we might be in different boats, but we are all in the same ocean. With that, I'm going to jump into a round table. Gentlemen and everyone who's part of the panel, the format of this discussion is very simple. I have about 5 questions. I would love to get each of your views on these questions. I request the panelists to keep your answers short and crisp so that we can hear out from everyone, and it also helps us wrap up on time. Having said that, I'm going to dive right into our discussion. A quick 90-second take from each of the panelists. How has the pandemic affected your business and your revenues? A quick 90-second take. Maybe we'll start with you, Samir.
Okay, great. Thank you, Anmol, and thank you, Shibhu, for arranging this. And I think as we know, the pandemic has affected every business across the mankind, and so it's happened with us also. We are no more exception in this journey.
Samir, I think I lost you. I think the disruption by COVID has been so much that you couldn't continue the next statement. I'll probably jump to
April was we were struggling and we don't know now what to do next. And March, which is the peak time, we almost in the middle of March, things started going wrong. The last week generally March gave us 20% of business. We started struggling from there, and April was completely collapsed. So
yeah, I think the internet is trying to show the collapse, but we get the point. Probably I'm going to move to Raj. Raj.
Sure. Thank you, guys. See, if you look at it, right, what COVID actually told us is essentially it was an eye opener to say what is essential for our living. I think for the first time, leaving the business aside, I felt like what is truly needed for us as an individual to survive. Because if you really look at it, right, the fancy cars, the number of clothes, the attire that we have, the number of accessories that we have, probably all of that is gone. And I'm sure most of the men did not even use salon and then, didn't even shave. Like suddenly you understood that, what is essential for life. And as Titan as a company, or particularly the watches division we were working on, it's a non-essential product. So we definitely had our impact that, it is a non-essential. We had our returns. And but thing is, we stayed calm for 3 months. The businesses were closed, nothing was happening, right? So we stayed close. But then later after that, things started coming up, and then we have life as a net new normal. The engagement that we have with our customers is different. How we integrate with our customers is different. How we offer our new age solutions to our customers is different. Yeah, COVID took a rebirth for us as an organization.
Sure, but in terms of revenues, are we back to what it was pre-COVID?
We are around 80-85% back, I would say.
Great. I think that's great news. Samir, if you would come in.
I got disconnected in between, so sorry for that. I think Raj filled up that space very well. So we had our own struggle, and from physical auction, which is the largest auction house in the country, we become almost zero, and that's where the struggle started. And I think it's quite a big rebound by the whole organization, by the market acceptability. We've done a lot of different innovations, a lot of things we brought in, and we geared back. Definitely first quarter was quite bad. Second quarter, we almost doubled the first quarter, and third quarter, we almost at 80%. This quarter, we're almost crossing the number of last year. So we really done a big changes, and I think we'll talk about as we go in this discussion. But it's overall big impact as everyone there, and but we bounced back, and we've done a lot of work around it to come us back as a great company. So we'll talk about more. So we are back to the business.
This seems like those interviews, we ask students after the exam is over, right? How the exam was. Yes, tough paper, yes, but we are coming out of it. That's how it seems like. Yogesh?
Sure. So from a revenue perspective, we have been one of the lucky ones, given our target customer base and services that we provide to our customers. We actually had a positive impact on our business, mainly because more and more organization looking for now the cost-effective solution to their accounting and reporting problem. However, from the existing customer perspective, there was some impact because we had some customer with reduced scale of operations, and some even have shut their shops and everything. However, to facilitate our customers, we offered them the extended credit period of 2 months and 3 months, even in some cases. Also, in some cases, we also help customers in terms of documentations and other requirement to avail the PPP fundings, because most of our customers are in the US. However, from a growth perspective, we are not able to grow as much as we expected, mainly due to our travel restrictions. However, we could able to manage through teleconferencing, video calls, meetings, and everything. From a operation perspective, it's a big impact because all our teams is working 100% remotely. In the initial phase, due to the shortage of laptop, because there's a huge market demand in the month of March and April when we started operating 100% remotely. Uh, there were some disruption due to the power cuts and internet issues in some of the areas. So we face some issues, but we come back. We wanted to create a happy environment for the people. So from a response perspective, we immediately come back with some of the reimbursement policies for the employees for the equipment and accessories they need to make work from home more comfortable for them.
Right.
We need to ensure that the employees are motivated. So we had a monthly and a weekly touch point with the team. We had some virtual fun event to ensure that the employees are engaged and that they are not frustrated while they are working from home. From health perspective, we introduced the COVID-19 specific policy to all the employees to ensure that the employees are safe uh, from health perspective. And from a training perspective, because we onboarded a lot of people during this COVID period as well, and training was one of the critical areas to ensure that we onboard all the employees successfully into the process. So we created a training videos and used the Teams meeting, the Zoom meeting, the video call to ensure that we onboard people very effectively into the organization.
Right. So looks like you've attacked COVID more than COVID has, attacked the business. That's nice to know. Upkar.
Yeah, Anmol. I think rightly said by all others panelists as well. I think it was an unprecedented event, right, in the history of mankind, as far as we have seen in our lifetime. So what happened that being a global company, we even had impacted in some or the other way, like all companies. What we saw that even after having a robust continuity program plan or the office dedicated across all the regions we have. So what kind of continuity program that if one part of the world is affected, we may shift our work to the other part of the world. But this unprecedented has impacted all regions at the same time. So that's why it's what unprecedented. No one was ready for that. But what we saw that, when storm comes, the organizations which are flexible enough, not only from the technology perspective, but from the processes perspective, from management perspective, they could, I think, face it quickly. And I think what best than your tagline can, explain that, if I say that we responded to this event on time, we rebooted ourselves, all the functions, and then we are now in the phase of reinventing. Now it is getting to be new normal because we had some issues in the initial phase. We rebooted ourselves with a lot of technologies, process management and all, and now we are seeing the benefit of it, and we are reinventing for the future as well, right? So this is how, and not only any one function, all functions, all support function in some or the other way have rebooted, reinvented with the process and technologies to make the business continue. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Upkar, for sharing that. You're talking about business continuity planning. A quick question again to all the panelists. Raise your left hand if you think work from home will continue. Right hand if you think we are going to go back to offices post everyone getting vaccinated, or give me a namaste if you think it's a hybrid model. Where does it, Samir, okay, everyone's done a namaste. We should have taken a screenshot of that. Probably I'll start with you, Raj. I think the traditional way of working has been disrupted. It's going to be more of a hybrid model. What's your take?
So Titan was a big believer that work from home is not possible as an organization for Titan. In fact, our MD always tells in this as that COVID made him realize that there's a new life. So we never had a work from home as a policy. And in the 3 months of COVID, everybody understood that work from home is possible. And after that also, we had only small teams coming in, and we still were productive. We were operational. Funny part of it is everybody is actually on time for the meeting. If the meeting is starting at 3 o'clock, everybody's actually in the meeting at 3 o'clock. Nobody's waiting for anyone. So in fact, with remote working, people are actually on time for the meetings and things are productive. But would that be a sustainable option? The answer is no. So we all realize that, it's not going to be a long-term sustainable option. We still have to be back in office because the human interaction, like how we were saying, right, you miss the claps, you miss the human interaction, you miss that connect with the people. I think probably we're all old school. We still don't see that being replaced. Okay, that's how I would put it in. But I think we are evolving towards a hybrid model. As an organization, particularly we felt, particularly the Hyderabad engineering team, we are looking at like every Friday work from home, Monday to Thursday in office, even as a permanent. Two reasons: one is virtual, we are all comfortable. Second thing is just contributing back to the carbon footprint also, because if all of us are not traveling at least one day a week, we have seen how much earth got an opportunity to repair itself. So at least let's contribute towards reducing the carbon footprint. So that is another reason why we would like to do so, hence the hybrid model.
Sure. Samir, a part of your business is virtual, but a large part of it is also the physical interaction, which has to be done offline. You're also a proponent for the hybrid model. Do you think a lot of functions will start working from home, at least the marketing aspect, the sales to a certain extent?
Yeah, I think Raj has covered it well. We also, me personally, very strong believer of physical presence, and we never had anyone the last 10 years of our history, we never allowed anyone to work from home. So this came as a big change in our mindset, and we found it's a big success. And as rightly said, we found in the initial April, May, these months, people were working 14, 15, 20 hours a day, and which were never been happening in our kind of a company. And we found people are more committed, even if business is less, but a lot of things were happening around and things were changing. But nonetheless, as we are in a touch and feel business model, so we need to maintain the both. We are also the largest auction house in the country, online platform. So we do both. So our online business in any case is happening through the digital mode, but physical auction, which is our 80 to 90% business, is more on the physical side. So we have to maintain both, and we found for business, for touch and feel, especially in the used vehicle, which is our major focus area, unless touch and feel is there, things will not happen. But also we are doing a lot of work around, which is on the work from home possible. A lot of people, we all still have the policy where few people are allowed to work alternate day from the home. Those things are still happening. We're also seeing some of the functions which can still operate remotely. So those things are possible and happening. But when our physical operations, our sites, they has to be physically available, and we are there. So we have a hybrid model, and I think it's been effective for us by now. So we feel it will continue the same way, and we'll see as more technology comes, more things come, how we can be more stronger towards more lesser of the physical touch. So, but that's the time will tell. But right now, we are in the hybrid model, right?
Sure. Upkar, are you joining us from office, or is this your house?
No, it is house only.
Okay.
The work from home model only for us. See, all ITS company, basically service oriented company, in some or the other way did have this work from home culture. I think from before COVID as well. Like we also did have. Though the developers or the associates or the employees were allowed to do work from home a couple of days in a month, right? Not all business lines, like we have a call center services as well, there it was not possible because of the regulatory issues or the client requirement. So but most of the developing side was having this. But The infrastructure was available, but it was not at large scale. When we get into this stage, right, everyone will have to work from home. The only thing we required was to scale up that infrastructure across the globe. That was a huge task, right? Making the VPN concentrator to the large scale at all the people. This is a diverse teams. People from India are connecting to Belgium servers and UK server. US people are connecting to some other region servers, and also all criss and cross was required. So upscaling the infrastructure was one of the, I think, big tasks we had. But yes, the culture was in place. People were everyone now went into a work from home type of requirement. Yes, but that itself have gave some new challenges to face, like the hardware issues. The people, you did not have the laptop. Suppose most of our 90 plus percent did have a laptop, but few of them didn't have laptop. How to enable them to quickly work? So there were some technologies even have accelerated those adoption to make them capable. But yes, in some, personally as well as professionally, work from home model is working, not only for the employee side, also for the organizations. Organizations have witnessed quite a lot saving, right? Also OPEX saving from this. And it is, I think, going to be a long-term affair now. Now, many of such organizations are consolidating, right, their office premises or seats, or they are planning, it's a new normal to be on a rotational basis. So I think that that is what I'm saying, that people are reinventing now for the future.
Right. Absolutely. Yogesh, just flipping gears a bit, to ensure business continuity, what are all the technology adoption that you brought in into your organization, to ensure that even during the lockdown, the business still continues?
So we enable user to work from home in a efficient way. We provided a broadband connection to each of every employee. We provided laptops to each of the users. From an application access perspective, we deploy Citrix is a secure gateway to access to the various applications to provide services to the customer. From a voice calling perspective, we deployed the Avaya soft phone so that people and the employees can call to the customers using the soft phones. Also, from a productivity measurement perspective, because this is one of the challenges we face when everyone started working from home, we deployed the productivity management tool, and there are a lot of productivity management tool available in the market, which has really helped us to track the productivity of each of the users and employee across the organizations. So these are the some of the uh, technology adoptions we have taken. Also, we are in the process of investing more into technology, uh, basically into cloud. We are moving all our server from physical location to the cloud so that it's a seamless access to every employees. We are investing into RPA, AI, machine learning to ensure that our processes are improved and turnaround time and quality is getting improved.
Sure.
We are working towards the paperless work culture. We are ensuring that most of our processes are digitized. Uh, and then from an application perspective, we are moving to a single platform, which is a SAP, which will bring us informative from an output perspective, and then it will also reduce effort in terms of doing reconciliation and consolidation of the financial statement. So there are a lot of initiatives we have been taking to ensure that we enable the user to work 100% remotely.
Interesting. Interesting. Raj, you are into next gen technology. How did you incorporate, digital adoption with Titan to ensure business continuity?
Yeah, as Yogesh outlined, right? So we have done the same thing. We had VPN connections. Anyway, our entire software development was on cloud, and we were using GitHub and everything. So people were putting it on that. Then we did Google Hangouts. We did daily stand-up meetings for people, and then everybody came on camera. Some people started feeling uncomfortable because they wanted to be in the camera, and then there's something in the background they didn't want to. So we started understanding. In fact, one of the things that we tell more than technologies, we told that it's okay. Sometimes, we expect for a quiet room, we expect that, no conversation from the back and all. One of the key things that changed is we told that it's okay, even if your son or if your kid is popping in and then looking at why it's curious. It's okay to have a background noise because you are at home. So people started becoming more empathized about, understanding the culture and understanding how people live together. And we also did a lot of virtual games for people every Friday to make sure that that bonding is there. In some of the things that happened, I wanted to give one emotional, because technology thing, I think Yogesh has covered, and I'm sure every one of us have done the same thing. But how do we connect human emotions and how do we evolve is where I would like to do it. Some of the bachelors that we had in the Titan, they actually were running out because hostels were pushing them to get out because they were closing and restaurants were not available. Suddenly they were like really homesick. They can't travel home as well. Then I took an initiative saying that, how about every Friday somebody cooks food and then they bring it to office, because there's only the 3 or 4 bachelors who will be there in the office, and then they bring it and then they will have food along with them. You'll not believe it ran for 3 months. Everybody took so much pride in actually cooking and coming for that Friday. People were looking forward. People were saying, tell me what you like, what you miss in your hometown. Then they actually took the pain of understanding the recipe and created it. It created more bond and more positive vibes. So I think as human beings evolve, and then everything, every time when there's a pandemic, I think there's always a new solution that we come up to understand and bring that oneness and bring that family culture. I would say that that's something that we have done in addition to all the technology things that we have put together.
Great. I love that idea. I think this is truly innovative. And finally, someone is thinking about bachelors also. So it's good. Samir, was this like a shock to you when the COVID started, and what all steps did you take to ensure continuity?
I think, right, as soon as we were hit by COVID, we knew that BOE, our business as usual, will not work. So this needed to be out of box ideas. This needed to be a lot of implementation and adoption of that. And COVID-19 has definitely brought a lot of push to the new technology adoption within the organization. We were having two challenges. In fact, our one is on the employee side, second on the customer side. And both the places we knew that neither the customer nor the employees were ready for any change in the technology. We are used to a brick and mortar kind of a operational style. So fortunately for us, like last couple of years, we had invested heavily into technology, and we were having the solutions ready for the customers as well as employee. But none of them were adopted by anyone. None of them were ready, and they said, no, these things will not work in our industry. Nobody would like to touch it. And there is no choice. We have to start it, and we did a lot of trainings to the employee. Everybody on the Microsoft Teams, and then daily meetings, work around that. A lot of training of the new apps. But we started MySammy Lab, which is a first of its kind in the country, where we brought in the physical auction into digital mode, where you can watch it live, bid live from your home. And customers never were very happy to adopt to this. But now they didn't have a choice. They have to do business. So we were doing live auctions at the yards, but live, you can watch it live on your computer, and you can start bidding on the spot, on the time, the real time. So that technology were ready with us for last 2-3 years, but neither team nor customers were ready that it will be adopted. But yeah, that happened. And we make it happen. And that was a real hit. We are the only company in the country who provide phygital auctions now, which is physical auction or digital. So we have both the solutions ready. People can watch live at their home and they can bid. They can go in the auction and they can sit in front of the vehicle and machine. They can bid there also. So that was a super hit. And we also have a digital live physical bidding. So you can on the desktop you can start bidding and you can do it. We also had a lot of other things, which was an e-pass and a lot of other stuff we brought in. So we had a lot of digital adoption we brought in at that time, which took us a couple of months for the employees as well as for the customers to get trained. But yes, end of the day, the results were good and we were successful. So I think it helped us, which we could have done in next 2-3 years. We preponed everything and we adopted everything. There was no choice for anyone.
Right, right. In fact, IPL auctions happen, we see IPL auctions, but now we are seeing this auction also happening online on vehicle commerce. Very, very interesting. Never thought it would happen so soon.
Right.
Upkar, Samir was talking about fast tracking the digital adoption, right? Fidelity, of course, has been a technology company. Was it much easier for you because you probably had some infrastructure in place already?
Exactly, Anmol. I think Samir very well rightly said that digital adoption has accelerated. Yeah, which the organization would have done in 2 or 3 years, they have done it in 2 to 3 months only, right? And the digital adoption, the main part I think emerging technologies we cover was the cloud adoption has accelerated, multiple times, right? Be it a cloud telephony, right? For even for the call center agents, be it a cloud, the desktop on cloud, that is WVD window virtual desktops, right? The people who did not have laptop or some issue in their laptop, so they connected through the cloud desktop to the data centers, having a secure gateway, kind of arrangement that was there. And even multiple applications, the edge applications have been deployed or developed not for the internal usage, for even for our clients, right, where they wanted to deal with their customers and users basically. So cloud adoption, and in my team I handle the DevOps function as well. So one of large bank POC was supposed to happen in month of April, and my team was supposed to go to Singapore for doing that POC on banking environment, because the financial institutions are very critical and they want the POC on their environment only, right? We did that POC on cloud only after we got to know that it is going to be a long term affair. And so that all arrangement and doing POC on cloud at large scale, we cluster kind of environment, and making the the NFE, that non-functional testing, where a lot of load testing has to be done on cloud. So multiple permutation combination could give us a lot of innovation have been brought in to make that successful, and that POC went successful with the large bank of Singapore, right? So all these innovations, efficiencies has brought in by the teams, and people work together. Management also participated, enabled the teamwork. And so I think the technologies has enabled organization to meet this time. One thing I want to mention here is technologies were there, no doubt, but there were two main pillars, right? Without them, this period would have been very difficult. I want to acknowledge them here. One was the internet service provider, like you and others, right? They, if suppose they would haven't collapsed, and the other one is electricity department. Suppose if they would have collapsed, it would have been difficult time. The electricity was available, laptops were getting charged, and internet was available. So all organization could sail through with their different technologies adoption and process adoption. Thank you so much.
Upkar, it just made me think COVID without Wi-Fi. it's just
Yes,
it's just a
yes,
very scary thought.
absolutely, absolutely.
I think now we can also say every cloud has a silver lining, right? Because of a lot of cloud adoption that's happened. Again, switching gears, Yogesh, one challenge that you think enterprises are facing when it comes to adopting to this digital normal, this new normal that we're talking about, one key challenge which a lot of enterprises are facing at this point.
So I think there are a couple of challenge. One is definitely, I think some of the organizations, they are resistant to change. And my rough guesstimate is that 10 to 15% of the people in the world, they love to change, but the rest 85 to 90% of the people feels that the change is a pain. Secondly, I think there has to be a clear. So what I see is that there's a lack of clear vision from a digital customer journey perspective. And what I believe is that those companies succeed in creating a digital customer value proposition uh, uh, by having a clear objective against that vision and then just executing it. It doesn't come by accident. It has to be have a clear vision in terms of how do you want to achieve that digital journey. And then in terms of the third thing, which I believe is ineffective gathering and leveraging of customer data. I see the digital success and the root of the digital success is the customer data. You can look at, I will give a couple of examples, whether it's a Facebook, Amazon, Netflix, or Uber. If you see the digital success stories have the effective gathering, storing, and leveraging of the customer data at the core. So leveraging customer data is a core, according to me, for any digital success stories. And last but least, you have to have a flexible technology stack and development process to ensure that your technology is flexible in terms of adopting new technology, and you do test and learn approach whenever you're adopting a new technologies.
Sure. So the vision needs to be there, and of course, the technical know-how to implement that vision.
Correct.
Great. Thanks for sharing that, Yogesh. Shibhu, you talk to a lot of enterprises. You work with them very closely. According to you, what's the key challenge enterprises are facing in adopting to this digital normal?
I would say earlier they were all struggling the way all the enterprises were trying to see what kind of change that they need to bring in order to bring up to the speed, because what they have lost in the quarter 1 and quarter 2 they had to catch up in the quarter 3 and in the quarter 4. So those things were, I would say, they were learning with the times what to adapt and how to move ahead, because earlier the cloud was not a necessity, but with the work from home concept which is coming in and kicking in the world, it was bound to be there. I mean, there are no other choice but to adapt to the cloud situations and cloud model where they have voice and data solutions. Otherwise their end consumers are ultimately suffering and not getting the right kind of services. So I think most of the companies invested in learning what their end customers expected out of this situation, and how their enterprises within their organization would like to bring in that change in order to mitigate the solution. Otherwise the situation was not coming and solving with the problem. So these things, all the new cloud phone solutions were primarily adopted to ensure that the productivity and the efficiency is still maintained. As I heard Raj and Samir talked about, people were reluctant initially in the beginning to adapt to this change. But I think eventually they learned and understood, and the entire ecosystem around us, whether it is internal or external customers, I think everybody understood the concept and the need to go with the flow. So I think that is where I would like to call out the fact that bringing the employees up to the speed in terms of adapting to the new culture and situation and the newer technologies, so that they can manage their consumers and end customers. I think that's where I would like to share the fact.
Sure, it's not survival of the fittest; it's survival of the quickest right now. How flexible?
Kind of, yes.
Raj, I'll come to you. What's the role of leadership in all of this? In driving the organization to a digital future. How important is the leadership angle here?
I think leadership plays a very critical role when actually dealing with catastrophes. In this particular case, Titan, I'll tell you, Mr. Bhaskar, I'm sure industry knows him as a leader who has transformed Titan's journey. He retired. And then Ravi Nayan, who's the CEO of Watches and Wearable, he retired. So the entire Titan organization had a completely new leadership. Of course, they were all Titanians, but end of the day, Suparna was taking up as a new role as a CEO of Watches and Wearable. And then Venkat was taking over as a new CEO of the global Titan. So when you're taking up such a big responsibility and suddenly this thing happens where almost 3 months, just imagine company not clicking a single penny of revenue, I think remaining calm is not easy, and it's not as easy as we speak. But I think, Titan showed that composure, Titan showed that calmness. And I would say that Titan was one of the very few companies who also honored vendor commitments. Like, because vendors we have pre-ordered certain things for vendors, and then we made sure that we ensured that those commitments are made and we made the payments to them. Titan was one of the very few companies, because we wanted to make sure that they are taken care. We ensured that our contracts with our retailers and all, they have their necessary extensions. We thought about insurance even for the contractors who are there on behalf of the company. So all of this stood out as a leadership where Titan as a company demonstrated that we are there with you through the thick and thin, and this time will pass. Titan had a very big belief, and then we have run a theme saying that, no, this too will pass. So that's, this too will pass is a theme where, yes, I think we are there. And then our CMO ran a nice campaign about, ticking India, where we brought saying that, the swipe of the credit card, then the ticking of it is what will tick up the macro economy of the company. So how about we run an initiative? That initiative was very well received by all the other companies, like even Anand Mahindra, so many other big players around have actually said that there's a very nice initiative from Titan, like, come economy, let's come back. And we were not talking about our watches or anything. We were talking about, people who are on the roads, like, several small sellers actually have run out of business. People have committed suicides because they didn't have money to run their families. So a lot of things got impacted. So in that kind of a catastrophe, leadership is always by example. How do you treat your own employees? How do you treat your vendor partners? How do you treat your, resellers? How do you treat your contractors? All of this together is leadership. And I would say that Titan has really, really demonstrated it, living by example, and that calm and composure made us really sail through and felt that, like, hey, nothing happened. And for me personally, like, if you see, we still did not change the boards and all, but I can't imagine Hug Innovations as a company sailing through such tough times without any revenues and thinking that we are there. We could sleep peacefully. The books were always planning for this kind of catastrophe. There were, like, enough margins and cushions for us into the company, saying that, it's okay, even if we don't make money, we can burn, and then we are still, like, cash positive. I think there's a lot that I've learned in the last 1 year sitting at Titan, saying that, whether it's an enterprise, whether it's a startup, how should a company lead catastrophe by example, and particularly how you treat others is more important than how you just treat your own employees, because employees is the given thing, but how do you really treat your ecosystem is what I've really learned. And I think leadership definitely serves by example.
Raj, I'm waiting for a book to be launched from your end soon about this.
Hopefully.
Right. Samir, coming back to leadership, you're heading this big organization. Did you have those doubts? ये मैं नया try कर रहा हूँ, चलेगा नहीं चलेगा? A lot of pressures from different stakeholders. What is your mindset in terms of leadership for digital future?
I think one good part happened. I only have sleep of 4 hours every day for last 1 year, so that's become adoptable to me. I was having 8 hours minimum sleep. Without that, I cannot survive. So one good thing happened, that I only sleep 4 hours nowadays. So that's on the lighter side. But yeah, I think it's a very, very interesting year. I think whatever we have learned in last, whatever our history of our every individual has gone through their professional life. This was a very interesting year where you learned so many things about human behavior, the changes, innovation, adaptability, the challenges, mindset. I must say every day was different. Initial phase, where every day in the morning when you wake up, you had very different challenge. I'll take one small example. We said, okay, we'll work from home. And we were in an atmosphere where we were having all desktops and everything is on the network is there in the offices. Now we are talking about 1,000 people to work from home, and we need laptops now. We go into the market, there's no laptop available. The laptops are gone all of a sudden from the market. Everybody's taken away the laptop. Okay, somehow we get 5 from this place, 10 from Bombay, 10, 20 from there, 50 from there. We started. It will take a couple of weeks, and then the courier is stopped. And then by the time we go, then there is a data card is required, and then Tata Teleservice is not providing us a data card. That was again on the lighter side. So there was so many challenges when you start adopting to those things, and then all of a sudden, when you've done all that stuff in the next couple of weeks, then my risk officer says the data is a big risk now. Your customer data will be a big risk now. Now again you have to start thinking. So every day in the morning when you wake up, there was another new challenge, and you start adopting one by one, and then you need to keep the morale of your employees very high. They need to be very used to how they should be busy in different things. So you need to work on that. Then you see your business, which was at 100, is all of a sudden at 10, and you have a fixed liability of 80. Now, how to fill up that gap? So you need to now think about payouts. There's the cash flow issues. So there was so many things were happening together. And I think the best leader who has survived, all the companies who have survived, I must say they are all were because of all the employees collaboration, the market adaptability, and especially company like us. We are in a very, very different ecosystem. We were not as lucky as Upkar or Raj, where things have gone better. For us was like completely collapsed. And then what to do. So ecosystem, your customer is not adaptable to your business, your employees are not ready for these changes, and these things are not there in your system. Now what to do? So exactly, we done a lot of creativity, we done a lot of innovation, and we do a lot of collaborative efforts here. And end of the day, we know it is a direction which definitely transformed the whole ecosystem of our company. We gone back, we started making money, we paid everyone on time, employees were motivated, there was no single sacking happened, there was no retrenchment was happening, people are getting time on money on time, they were busy, innovation was happening, new adaptability is happening, business started growing, customers, lot of challenge around customers, so you need to work on them, you need to train them, so everything gone very, very differently. And I think everybody has learned, every single employee has learned, they've done such a tremendous job, otherwise company would not have stand. So it's a collaborative effort with the right direction, and I think that's where we survived. I think I still feel we are very lucky as India, as a country. We were one of the best adoption has happened in this country, where every single business has survived and gone better. So I think we are very, very lucky, and it's all about the nature, the kind of people we are, and I think I must say, definitely leaderships are there, but it's all about collaborative effort by everyone in the system. So that's all from our side.
Right, we are all the masters of jugaad, so that's how it is. Upkar, your thoughts on leadership during these unprecedented crises?
Yeah, true, Anmol. I think very well explained by Samir as well. I think we Indians are very adaptive in all ways. You see that wherever we go, right, we adapt to their culture, we adapt to the ecosystem. And that's why, you will find Indian everywhere, right? So, leadership role was very prominent uh, in this, never before kind of situation, right? Where in the initial period we saw a lot of fear across, right? When in the industries a lot of layoffs were happening, lots of salary cuts were happening, people who were already at the in progress of the increment process were got hold, right? So I think leadership role was very prominent, not only from making their workforce enable with all the tools required, right? Not also maintaining the business line, the top line also, so that the clients are in place. So they had to balance both ways. I think the communication during this time from the leadership was immensely enhanced to a level that the employees can be have a lot of confidence to deal with the situation. I think it was an unprecedented, I think, leadership we could see in our organization, and not only in our organization, across all organization, be it a small company or a corporate big enterprise. I think everywhere we see leadership has displayed a very effective and efficient role, and I think this do emerge a situation like this only, right? So that was, I think, one precedent. Vision did really help, like even in for the technology adoption, taking decision quickly, right? And planning the things across was really, I think, effective to
Sure.
sail out. Yeah.
Sure. Uh, Yogesh, for a lot of enterprises, what are the key areas that an enterprise should focus and invest in its digital future? What are the key areas for an enterprise?
So, so from my perspective, definitely, so one of the key component is definitely a cloud computing, where the enterprise can invest more in the future. In addition to this, if it is a service industry, the enterprise can invest into a web-based portal with a workflow where transactions or any services can be done anywhere through the web access. We are not dependent on any physical presence of any employee in the office. Also, from a customer perspective in the service industry, they should be able to get access to all deliverables and product online wherever they are. So, so we have introduced the work. So within our organizations, we developed our in-house portal where customer get access to the various financial reports and all the data to be able to get a meaningful insight into their financial statement. Also, from a service industry perspective, enterprise can invest into a BI analytical solution, because that is where the customers is more looking to get the data into a concise and visualize and meaningful format, so that they can take the right decision by looking at the data. Third thing, definitely, as I said, so everyone is working towards the work from home, and productivity management and measurement is one of the main challenge when you work from home. So the enterprise can invest into productivity management tool. There are a lot of management tool available in the market, so they can invest into that. The next is from a RPA, AI, and machine learning perspective is very emerging, and there is a lot of use cases across various products and services in the market. So enterprise can invest into that as well. Also working towards paperless work culture, because we are working towards work from home. So digitization of some of the processes is very important. The next one is Vdi deployment, and that is where we are working towards, because we want our employees to work from home, and they access our application, the core applications with the enhanced security feature, and that is where we are working towards. And the last but least, we are introducing the bring your own device policy, wherein we are requesting employees to bring their own device, and that is enabling us to generate the employment not only in the metro cities, but in the non-metro and the rural area, where we could able to hire people across the country and not restricting to the metro cities.
Right. Thank you for sharing that, Yogesh. That was indeed a very comprehensive list. A lot of checkpoints there for organizations if they want to invest, where to invest, and how to go about it. A quick question to all the panelists. What's your take on respond, reboot, reinvent, the new mindset for growth? Raj?
Sure. See, if we really look at it, right, just piggybacking on what you said, for responding also, a lot of people are going on to digital transformation. But digital transformation, to be very honest, is not just technology enablement. It's actually having the people's mindset changed also. A lot of things, people think that if I enable my application on e-commerce, if I just introduce the core technologies, that is enough. So some of the key principles that I've personally put into Titan, into this new age initiative, and then also combining this new age way of working is, first of all, understand what our future customer profiles are, because you're actually catering to new age customers. Understand where they are actually consuming, because some of them are in Insta, some of them are on Snapchat, some of them are on Twitter. Like, you have to understand where the profile of the customer is. And the next important thing is, you'll almost have to build incremental intelligence on a day-to-day basis, because we are, evolving so fast in this world, right? How do you build systems that can give you incremental intelligence? And with incremental intelligence, the combination has to come as agility. How soon can we respond having this intelligence? Otherwise, what happens is you're actually producing a lot of waste if you're unable to make decisions. And all of these are connected dots. So how do we really make sure that you can automate as much as possible? Every single part of the company, how do you really automate? And last but not least is constant training and problem solving with our employees, so that if you really connect all of these dots, then organizations have truly retransformed, recrystalline themselves, and they're constantly evolving, because evolution is just a milestone and it's a journey. It's not like a destination. Because when people or company think that we have evolved and we have grown, this is good, that means the growth is already stopped. So evolution is a continuous process, and every single day almost you reach your net new milestones. But if your infrastructure and technology is not providing you all of this in a 360-degree, then it's very tough to either emerge or resurvive in the new times, where almost the times will be very different almost every single day. So that's my take on this.
Right. So it's a very holistic approach, not in isolation that you just implement certain thing. Great. Samir, respond, reboot, reinvent.
I think rebooting our business for a new normal begins with recognizing and responding to the mega trends. That's what I believe, and followed by reinvent innovation. So what companies need to do today is to fundamentally reboot themselves, and not because they know what the future will look like, but because they don't know. So So to reinvent themselves means to change the way they operate so that they're able to operate the world in the large uncertainty. We need to see which ecosystem we are working right now. You can bring a lot of things. You can bring so many technological things which is not adaptable to the ecosystem. There's no fun out of it. So need to be like we are working on a data science team is working right now building a suggestive tool which is using data and machine learning algorithms to predict what is the various aspects of buying and selling activity. So this is expected to bring innovation in the whole industry of the used vehicle what we work. Also, our tech innovation team is building artificial intelligence application, which is going to improve the quality of inspections what we do. We are the largest inspection and valuation company in the country right now. So we have different things which definitely adaptable to the market, what market is needing. We should not develop something or reinvent and reboot or work on which is right now not required. There are so much things happening. There are so many things which is in the Western world, but we can't bring my market, our ecosystem is not ready to adopt to it. So we should look into what is certain, what should be done, and to our market, to our customer, to our employees, and we should work around that only. That's what we are firm believer and working on that only.
Great.
No, sorry, I just realized 4 o'clock I have another meeting. I'll log off, but it was really nice interacting with you all. Sorry, I'm logging off. Thank you.
Thank you, Raj. We would love to have this offline as well. Upkar?
Yeah, Anmol. See, respond, reboot, and reinvent. In our terms, I can sum up, we did this by enhancing a few things, by enhancing or experiencing few things, which I can sum up by a word called COVID, right? So if we say C of COVID, that is collaboration, operation, O for operation, V for virtually, I for idealism, and D for dynamics. So by enhancing all these things, I think we could reinvent, reboot, and respond to the situation. Thank you.
I love that acronym. At least something positive about that word. I think finally we've got something positive about that word. Thank you for that, Upkar. Yogesh, your take on respond, reboot, and reinvent?
So from my perspective, as we shift from respond to reboot, the key for a senior leaders to take a strategic decision now that will lead them to reinvent a future state. From a reboot perspective, now we need to the enterprise need to create a plan to restore a scalable state. They need to identify capabilities that will strengthen, refactor, reopen, rehire, rebudget, and resupply. And from a reinvent perspective, I think they need to learn to conduct the operation process and workflow in a new, repeatable, and scalable way. And they need to use the lesson learned from the prior phases of the respond and reboot and create a new foundation and way forward for the enterprise.
Sure. Thank you for sharing that. Shibhu, I would like to invite you to, probably share your closing remarks. How can Tata Communications probably help a lot of enterprises during these tough times?
Right. So we heard a lot of responses from the respected speakers here, and they talked about respond, reboot, and reinvent. And I think one thing that Raj right now is not there. He has exited, but he mentioned one thing, which is evolution is just a milestone, but revolution is something that is an ongoing process, and we need to be achieving whatever we are thinking with these changing times. Otherwise, we are going to be stuck in that particular wheel, and we need to be keep rolling. Otherwise, obviously, situation is not going to improve fast. It is still going to take time, although we see that there is a lot of optimism in terms of revival of the situation that we are looking at in terms of COVID. But to again bring our organizations into the same mode, I think it is important that that we keep rethinking the flow of connectivity, and it is more just than a remote platform on demand services, wherein we try to build something for our end consumers, and what Tata Communication would like to bring into this particular situation in the fixed line voice business is a smart flow as a solution which can be adapted by enlarged by the large enterprise customers in this world, which is without boundaries, and because business should flow without boundaries, we have a cloud communication suite which actually talks about various situations and connectivity models which can be adapted by the large enterprise customers, which will allow them to, their business minds to go farther from their work areas where they are currently working. But it's important that in today's time, wherever their employees are, their people are, they are still able to manage their business well. So this smart flow, which is a business communication suite, helps us connect anywhere and communicate with the end customers. It also covers the business intelligence, which our enterprise customers keep looking at in terms of getting the regular reports and analytics into whatever they are doing, and they expect out of that particular cloud platform. And that's where we get into those reports, which can be customized, and there are standard formats of it. So, and then it also takes care of the operational cost and the capital cost, which is the deployment, which is not on-prem, but rather it is on the cloud phone, wherein enterprise customers doesn't have to take care of or think about the investment that they need to be doing during this situation, and everything is taken care of by our SmartFlow solution. And it also takes care of the scalability part of it, which means anytime whenever they feel that it need to be enhanced, it can be done in hours time, and the need is met and efficiency is still maintained. So when we talk about security, I think Janice talked about it in the beginning, that our solution also gives us the great security, which is reliable enough, wherein our IT sector and the IT people in the enterprise organization can be rest assured that whatever connectivity is getting established is completely secured for their meeting business requirement. And not only it covers and takes care of the security part of it, it also gives you and your customers the enhanced customer experience, which is a seamless and frictionless customer experience. So it has AI managers, call routing, etc., and plug and play of API integration with multiple applications. And the details of all these products that can be shared and made available, I would say, whenever there is a need, and we will be sharing our credentials by the end of this call, and we can, or our business teams can get connected with each of the enterprises which are right now available with us, and we will be taking them through with the detailed presentation of the product. So with that, I would like to close the conversation, and I would like to share that if the people or the customers are in other regions, then my colleagues are going to be helping and connecting with them to take care of this solution.
Thank you, Shibhu, for that. Before we wrap this up, a quick question to each of our panelists. We want to know you a little better in terms of what do you read and watch to get business updates? That's my first question. And who is your role model or your influencer? Someone who's had or who is having a deep impact on you. So what do you read and watch to get your business updates, and who is your influencer? Maybe I'll start with Upkar.
Yeah, I read a lot of the technical stuff basically, and also I'm a book reader, not technical book basically, leadership books basically, and I'm a part of couple of clubs where I do participate, so I learn from others as well, right? So with their experience, because that makes a lot of sense. And my CEO, what I have seen his leadership during this testing time, Gary Norcross, is I think I am basically very fond of and very much thankful to him, the leadership he has shown to the company in this testing time.
Thank you, Upkar. Samir?
Yeah, I'm not a great reader at all, but I have a habit for last, I don't remember, could be 15, 20 years at least, could be more than that. I read Economic Times every day, whether it was a digital form or it was a physical form. Now again, its newspapers are back, but even in the COVID time, in the digital form, I am every day from first page to last page, I go through completely. So that's my habit. That's the only thing what I read religiously. So that goes without fail. And I can read anything, I can watch anything. That's besides the point. But yeah, that's my favorite. That's what is my all knowledge base or my inspiration. That's where it comes from. So the person, I think I must say there is only one person which I look up to always as Dave Ritchie, who's the founder of Ritchie Brother Auctioner, which is the largest auction house in the world. It's a Canadian company. I worked for 7 years with him, taking care of Asia operations. So he's my biggest inspiration. The way he started a very small furniture business, become the largest auction house, multi-billion-dollar, $7-8 billion company now is running, and so that's my inspiration. He always used to tell me, so we take care of your customers. Business will automatically will happen, and it will happen. So your customers should be happy with you. Rest of things will follow. So I adopted one single strategy. That's this, and then the rest is falling on its own. So that's the person who's biggest influencer on my life. Yeah.
Great. Thank you for sharing that, Samir. Yogesh?
So from a reading perspective, because we have a lot of our business interests in the US, so I regularly read the Wall Street journals or the New York Times or the Financial Times. And from an Indian news perspective, I read Mint as a good source of informations, and Economic Times as well. From a leadership perspective, our CEO, Mr. CM Sharma, who is the influencer for me, mainly because the way he has managed the overall COVID situation and the way he has turned around the company in the last 12 to 18 months. So a lot of learnings and great things I can learn from him.
Sure. Thank you, Yogesh. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. It was indeed a very insightful discussion, a very valuable discussion, a lot of takeaways for leaders, business leader, enterprise leaders. Just in about an hour, I believe, this recording will be available on YouTube as well. So thank you again for taking time out on behalf of the talk and Tata Communications. I want to thank each one of you, hoping that we will do all of this offline. Probably once this whole pandemic is over, we'd love to interact with all of you offline with a cup of chai.